Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Irby? Here. Councilmember Burkett?
Here.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Here.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Here.
Councilmember Dolan?
Here.
Councilmember Stanger?
Here.
Councilmember Quinn.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
I move for approval of the journal of the meeting of September 3rd, 2013.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The journal is approved. A bid opening. We have no bid openings this evening, so we will move to communications.
Madam Chair, there are no tax compromises or zoning matters this evening, so I'll move to road and bridge matters. Under road and bridge matters, item number 1, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th districts.
Receive, file plans, specifications, and detailed estimate of costs be approved, and the Director of Procurement be authorized to advertise for bids as requested.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, 5th district.
Receive, file, the matter be held on the order of business and referred to the council as a committee of the whole, which I believe the committee of the whole meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 24th at 4:30.
So ordered.
Moving on to other communications, item number 1, all districts.
Receive and file, same motion for item number 2, and that will be the order.
Item number 3.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the, the appropriate legislation, and that will be the order.
Item number 4, 5th district.
Receive, file, and the agreement be approved as recommended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5, 5th district.
Same motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 6, 2nd district.
Receive, file, and the replacement deposit agreement be approved as recommended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 7, all districts.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. That same motion through item number 10, and that will be the order.
Item number 11, 3rd district.
Receive, file, and the subdivision plat and the deposit agreement be approved as recommended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any add-ons tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. County Executive.
Madam Chair, I'll have just a brief comment about the Economic Council annual meeting where they looked at the city and the county coming together. It was a great event. More than 900 people were there. And so it was a very, very good event, well attended, and it's a step moving in the right direction for the region.
Thank you. Okay. No report of special committees. Public forum is next, and we do have, I believe, about 7 speakers, but it was 6 speakers this evening. You are allowed 3 minutes for your comments, and I ask that you please keep them brief and to the point. The first speaker is Lynn Link.
I come before you to give you tonight one last chance at redemption. Mr. Stenger, you told the Oakville Call that you would not bring this matter up for a vote, as the council members told you that they will side with the commissioner's recommendation. The information that we have given you tonight and in the past refutes all 6 of the findings of the commission. Please note that on 7/29/13, NCR wrote a letter to the commission in response to the numerous justifiable concerns and facts brought up at the 7/15/13 commission hearing. We have previously given the council a review which refutes each and every allegation in their letter with truth and facts. In fact, even the attachment of the capital advance agreement, which NCR attached to the letter, is a reason for concern and requires additional investigation. Please also keep in mind that we have previously given the council information which they did not have at the time of the 7/15/13 commission hearing. We had prepared to give it to the commission, but we were told that we were not able to put any additional information in. Thus, their recommendation not to revert the zoning was not based on the critical information about the 100 known sinkholes within 1,000 feet of this property. The information regarding the sinkholes is most important. In addition, we have given you information from the USGS website, which states that increasing the water runoff to almost 100%, and building a large parking lot and leaving no little or no green space, then funneling that water to a storage retention area and putting weight of a 3-story building on it ensures disaster. We also set out how St. Louis County has sanctioned this building to be the closest to an adjacent property, a preschool full of little children, have the least amount of setback per foot of height, have the least amount of per unit parking, which according to our deputy fire marshal may prohibit him from driving the fire truck on the lot, have the most people per square foot, and be the tallest building on the east side of Telegraph Road. In fact, it will be the only building over 2 stories on the east side of Telegraph Road, because the original 1970s Oakville study that all the other ones refer to said it would be dangerous to do so because of the amount of sinkholes in the area. I will give you some advice in hopes that you will take it. Believe me when I say to you that no matter what your past relationship is with National Church residents or the rezoning of the property at 6050 Telegraph, you will want to untie the Gordian knot which you believe binds you to NCR and run as fast and as far away as possible. The only way to do this is to put this matter up for vote on the agenda and then to vote to revert the rezoning of the property at 6050 Telegraph Road. Not putting this on the agenda and not voting to revert the rezoning will tell everyone that you were given the information and how St. Louis County allowed this extremely dangerous project to continue. It's going to be dangerous for the children and for the people living in it. They will see that this has clearly caused reasonably foreseeable safety issues and even tempted fate. And yet, for some reason, you chose not to do your sole duty to keep the citizens of St. Louis County safe.
Ms. Link, you need to wrap it up.
Okay, I will. Believe me when I tell you that you are not just tempting fate, but you're ensuring disaster. People will get hurt and die. You have the ability to stop this, and if for some reason you won't, you and your families will eventually bear a lifetime of both guilt and shame of knowing that you failed your duty to keep us safe.
Thank you. Milton Rudy. And then Lisa Panett is after Milton.
Dear wonderful people of the St. Louis County Council, I was here last week and I heard similar concerns like Lynn just brought up, and I was wondering through this whole process, now why weren't we notified in the beginning when all this started off? And in addition to that, the seeming, dismissal out of hand by the county council of all of Oakville's, I think, legitimate concerns. And I was scratching my head, and thank God I picked up the Wall Street Journal this Sunday. And here was an article from Mr. Dooley's counterpart in Westchester, New York, Robert Astorino, and they're going through the exact same problem there. This article in the Wall Street Journal says, Washington's fair housing assault on local zoning. It says the article by Robert Astorino is about HUD's proposal entitled Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing, published in the Federal Register in July 2013. In it, Astorino claims the agency wants the power to dismantle local zoning so communities have what it considers the right mix of ethnic, racial, and ethnic diversity. It goes on, HUD has told Westchester that any limits on the size and type, height, density of buildings are considered to be restrictive practices, which means it nullifies any zoning laws. Last month, HUD demanded, without presenting any facts, that the county accepts a conclusion that there is exclusionary zoning in Westchester. A federal judge dismissed Westchester's claim last month, saying HUD's ruling was written in a way that excludes it from judicial review. That's frightening. HUD has no idea how much its new rule will cost or whether it will even work. The agency has not published any estimate of other effects, such as local real estate markets or local budgets. As stated in the Federal Register, HUD cannot qualify the benefits and costs of policies influenced by this rule. We're wondering if you also are trying to adhere to the affirmative furthering fair housing rules of HUD. Now, obviously, the people in the townships up there were extremely upset. Reaction from local municipalities have been confusion, anger, and disbelief. It's kind of amazing. The article in St. Louis Post-Dispatch from January of 2011, in it is quoted from the attorney, Mr. King, says, higher density would reduce developer costs. He says, there may be some trauma as residents near proposals for denser development react to change, he predicted. People will, no duh, people will get used to density, he said. The market is different than it was 5 or 10 years ago. He said it won't go back to what it was. Where did he get that information? We don't have that in Oakville. Other issues that, okay, other issues, it says, look at this, sloppy research, faulty methodology, unsubstantiated claims, little awareness of environmental concerns, faulty assertions of legal obligations. These are all the same issues that we're facing right here. And the county executive told me when I called him out there that we were the second people that had called because New Hampshire had called Westchester County after they read the article in the Wall Street Journal and said, hey, we're going through the same thing. So this is not even a law. It's a rule by the Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing. These bureaucrats have formulated a weighty, wordy document that for all its invasiveness has instead created a pile of crap that's now smearing all over the face of Oakville community and over similar communities across the United States.
Sir, you need to wrap it up.
Okay, thank you. Now look,
Sir, you need to wrap it up.
I will.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir, and I'm trying to be patient. Please, you need to finish your statement.
I am. We're good people, you're good people, and we are a good community, but I think it's obvious that this development is wounding us both. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, I'm sorry, is it Panette? Is that the correct? Okay. And after Lisa is Christine Parrot.
Okay, I'm here for two things today. I'm here for the people of Oakville, for one, in support of them, and I believe that they deserve a vote on this issue again with this HUD project. And Councilwoman Irby had stated something sometime back where she had asked Councilmember Stenger why he initially even asked them to vote for this, and then he was putting it back to planning. And I think that's still a question that we all have. And I think the reason why that doesn't even want to be up to a vote at this point is because nobody wants to address it. Why we took something so bad and we asked for it to be done. Why did we do that? And why would we ask to be put back to planning? Because you didn't think about it the first time. The second thing is in regard to your sustainability plans. You guys have still never even addressed, nobody has addressed on this council why they think these things are good in this sustainability plan. When you were talking about creating more traffic, limiting development, outfitting cars with GHG emissions tracking, to the local people exceeding international standards for low energy use, why you guys think that this is a good idea and this is representing the values of the people of St. Louis County. I mean, I would love to hear one of you say, yes, we believe the people in St. Louis County want more traffic on their roads. That's what they're dying for. They're begging us for it. They're begging for no more business to actually just squelch the business environment here. I mean, I'd love to hear somebody defend this. I mean, it's pages and pages, and I'm just very baffled at this point why nobody can defend why they want this plan. And yet there's been total silence, even though I brought all these points up to you guys. So I'm very confused about that. And as far as Councilwoman Burkett, how you had brought up the anti-discrimination bill, yes, we do have an anti-discrimination bill, but this goes even further. You're talking about celebration of a lifestyle with support centers and venues. That means our tax dollars are going to be funding those things. And I'm here in support of the church also that wants me to come and say they don't want to see their tax dollars in a celebration of this lifestyle. If you want that personally, that's all up to you guys individually. But there's no reason why the people of St. Louis County, and in particular churches and Christians, should have to be funding something that is against their conscience.
Christine Parrot, and after Christine is Joyce Connolly.
Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I am sorry I was not able to be here last week. However, I was at the urgent care with a lung infection due to a recent surgery. I heard that Mr. Dooley had declared September Children's Cancer Awareness Month in St. Louis County, and that Ms. Burkett had mentioned she was battling cancer as well. As a breast cancer survivor recently and having undergone chemotherapy and radiation treatments and later a preemptive bilateral mastectomy, I would like to tell Mrs. Burkett that I would be happy to speak with her anytime after the meeting or at home on my telephone if she would like to talk or need some words of encouragement based on her experiences with cancer. I have a packet for you, which Lynn will now hand you, that I hope will help you along your journey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, back to business. Okay, Mr. Stenger, you indicated in the call that you would not be able to get votes needed to revert the zoning because your fellow council members said that they wanted to go by the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendations. Since the council relied on the information attachments that NCR gave them back on 7/29 of this year, a letter which contained multiple misstatements and information that would seem to require further investigation, and their conclusions were incorrect, and the county has a duty not to rely on any of that information, as we have shown you. The factual information we have given the council clearly refutes all of the commission's findings, as well as the items set out in the 729 letter on which you all relied. 1, a 3-story building with 86 residents and only 37 parking spaces, and almost no green spaces, not a compatible environment with a smaller one-story child facility just next door, with a farther setback, significantly more green space, which is open at that preschool and open only Monday through Friday from 6:30 in the morning till 6 at night. The senior housing project will compromise the privacy of the adjoining monastery and already has, because there will be a 3-story building with 86 people who, according to the police records of senior facilities in St. Charles County, are extremely loud and dangerous, along with all the cars that travel that lot and who will be outside to smoke or get fresh air. Am I close?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me finish, please. The items set out on items 1 and 2 prove that functionality of this building will be far more intense. Coverage and setbacks and lighting are not comparable, as the St. Louis County has allowed this property to be the most intensely used 1.44 acres in all of Oakville throughout. And with the variance waivers and changes in codes, it makes it extremely dangerous. NCR senior facilities do create a multitude of public safety issues, according to the police. This development is not consistent with the Oakville study, which is why it will be the most intensely used parcel of land on this and the only 3-story building on the east side of Telegraph Road in of Oakville. In addition, at the time of the 7/15 public hearing, we did not have our U.S. Geological Survey and the information of the over 100 sinkholes within 1,000 feet of this facility. We have given the council members all of the information which shows that it is their duty now to stop this project once and for all. Imagine how you would feel if someone is killed or injured because you, as our legislators, made a wrong choice and allowed this property to go through. Imagine how you'd feel if a sinkhole swallowed up this preschool with these innocents or these 100 people in this building and they all died. It'll be on all your consciences until the day you die, and then you are the ones that will have to answer to God. In closing.
You really need to wrap it up.
Okay, a parting thought. My grandfather was a very wise man. He told me 3 things as a small child, and I have carried these principles with me always throughout all my life. I would like to impart his wisdom onto you in hopes that you start making better choices. First, think before you speak. 2, consider the consequences before you act. And 3, and most importantly, if in doubt, don't. It seems that you have done none of these 3 things concerning this matter at hand, and because of that alone, you need to revert the zoning at 6050 Telegraph Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Joyce Connolly, and after Joyce is Linda Blackburn.
Good evening. The pivotal moment for me was at the planning and zoning meeting we all attended. And at the end of this meeting, Mr. King got up and used Gestapo tactics with us. And he said, well, this building will continue to be built. I'm a little confused here. I've never been involved in government, but you think somebody on the council or somebody would have spoke up for the people of Oakville. Now, I know we're in litigious territory here, but you think somebody would have said, Mr. King, we need to stop this right now till we get this process worked out. I'm deeply hurt and I'm deeply offended this was not done. As I'm driving down Telegraph Road, we're running back and forth to these hearings, and I feel like a fool. I feel like you've made a fool of us. May I go on? When I think of a nonprofit, I think of the Salvation Army or somebody like an individual like Mother Teresa. Trust me, NCR does not fit this bill. They are a multi-million-dollar lobby group who cloak themselves when challenged in Christianity. I called their number, and the first thing the lady told me, are you a Christian? You walk with God. This struck me as a little strange. They seem to have a lot of money to throw around for a nonprofit. They fly people back and forth to St. Louis. I saw them walk down Telegraph Road. I mean, this takes money to get on planes. They seem to have a lot of money in every state for high-priced lawyers. I don't want to hear about their Christian schlick. To quote Mr. Rule from the Oakville Call, we believe that God has called us to reach out to the disenfranchised. Well, Mr. Rule, here is your answer from Mrs. Conley. Quote, Mr. Rule, what is your salary a year? How dare your corporation make millions and throw the crumbs? They throw the crumbs to the poor. That's what they do. They throw the crumbs by building, i.e. ugly substandard housing with no green space, light shining in their window from Telegraph Road, the noise coming from Telegraph Road. No, NCR, you are not welcome in my community. And don't insult my intelligence. And I want to wrap this up to say that the past weeks I've been doing a lot of calling to a lot of different organizations, mayors, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into this. We're not real pleased with St. Louis County. We're not pleased with a lot of things. And I don't mean to be crass, and I apologize to the council for talking the way I do. But whoever runs in this next election, Mrs. Connolly and her husband and a lot of friends, if I have to get out on Telegraph Road and stand there with signs and petition every business or every person I will meet, they will hear my story of the debacle of this NCR building. And we're going to get government to work. And it's going to work by the people. None of this cloaked in secrecy. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Blackburn.
My name is Linda Blackburn, and I request that a copy of this statement be entered in the minutes. Essentially, it's pretty much the same thing I talked about last week. How safe are the other National Church residence facilities for seniors in our neighborhoods? In their letter of July 29, 2013, National Church residents made several misstatements with regard to the safety of the other NCR facilities that are already in our area. It is important that the council be able to accurately review correct information, as it is the safety of the citizens of the St. Louis County is the council's first priority. Therefore, we must look at the other NCR facilities in our area. It is a violation of federal HUD regulations to house a registered sex offender in a HUD subsidized apartment. Yet we found out that the Missouri Sex Offenders Registry showed that there were registered offenders living in both NCR's Alexian Court and Roosevelt Town apartments. NCR admitted to housing the offender in Alexian Court, but indicated the other must have been a mistake. It appears that the mistake is that NCR does not know who is actually living in their properties, as these same facilities where the 2 police calls were reported for rape, 1 for sex offense, another for indecent act, and even two more for rape in the other building. NCR said that there are so many calls to these facilities because they're in bad neighborhoods. Over 2,000 police calls to these areas that we're not really supposed to compare to what they're building out here by us on Telegraph. So that proves that NCR does not do adequate background checks on the residents, and this cannot be tolerated, as the proposed facility will only be feet from small children where they'll eat, play, and sleep. NCR indicated that the 2 facilities that we are supposed to compare them to are the ones, there's 3 of them, out in St. Charles, and the J.C. Fairgrounds has had 105 calls for stealing, disturbing the peace, stolen auto, fraud, harassment, shots fired. Church Street Apartment has had 106 calls, including revoking driver's license, suspicious activity, stealing, fires, indecent exposure, assault, burglary, fraud, identity theft, sudden death, and suicides. Grace Garden Apartments has had 360 calls, and they're for fires, arrest warrants. Pretty much, they're all 3 of the buildings have just total 571 calls on them. And it's important to note that the crime rates in St. Charles County is lower than the state by 57%. In St. Peters, you'll have a 1 in 380 chance of being a victim of crime, unless, of course, you live in the NCR facility. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we saw that some of the people that were supposed to be residents. NCR states that they have 202 properties, and their demographics is a 79-year-old woman. Common sense tells us that these women are not the ones committing these crimes, so there's obviously other people that are living in these buildings. NCR indicated that okay. Anyway, essentially, inasmuch as NCR says that this is a good, wonderful place for people to live, we need for you to step up to the plate and actually read what's going on in their facilities and re-vote on the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want that in the record, give it to Genevieve. Thank you. Introduction of bills.
Bill number 200, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance, ma'am. Bill number 200, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $300,000 from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, appropriating the same for support of a Healthy Families America home visiting program, authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents. Bill number 201, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept 4 grants from the Missouri Department of Transportation, Traffic and Highway Safety Division, appropriating the same for traffic law enforcement expenses, and authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents. Bill number 202, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract and up to 3 one-year renewals with Alvin R. Sams DDS for provision of pediatric dental services at the county health centers. Bill number 203, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with International Church of the Foursquare Gospel for lease of space to be used for real estate reassessment appeals. Bill number 204, introduced by Councilmember Dolan, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with the Missouri Department of Social Services for lease of space on the concourse level of the St. Louis County Government Center for operation of a snack bar. Bill number 205, introduced by Councilmember Stanger, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of donation of playground equipment located at Lee May Park and authorizing the county executive to execute agreements for enforcement of related warranties. Bill number 206, introduced by Councilmember Burkett, an ordinance authorizing the chief of police to donate one Motorola radio to the Village of Hillsdale Police Department. Madam Chair, that is all the bills.
Okay, perfection of bills,
Bill number 8, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
Hold, please.
so ordered.
Bill number 158, introduced by Councilmember Erby for Councilmember Burkett.
Please hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 159, introduced by Councilmember Erby for Councilmember Burkett.
Please hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 181, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
Please hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 190, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move for perfection of bill number 190.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Burkett?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
No.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Abstain.
Councilmember Quinn.
No.
Madam Chair, on the motion to perfect Bill number 190, there are 5 ayes, 2 noes, and 1 abstention.
No,
I'm
it'd be
sorry.
4 ayes.
4 ayes, I'm sorry. 4 ayes, 2,
There's only 7 people on the council.
4 ayes, 2 noes, and 1 abstention, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. Okay, motion carries. Bill number 190 is perfected.
Bill number 194, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move to perfect bill number 194.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 194 is perfected.
Bill number 195, introduced by Councilmembers Wassinger and Quinn.
I move to perfect Bill number 195.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 195 is perfected.
Bill number 196, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move to perfect bill number 196.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 196 is perfected.
Bill number 197, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
I move to perfect bill number 197.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 197 is perfected.
Bill number 198, introduced by Councilmember Wassinger.
I move to perfect Bill number 198.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 198 is perfected.
Bill number 199, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move to perfect bill number 199.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 199 is perfected. Final passage of bills?
Bill number 184, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
Please hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 188, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
At this time, I move final passage of Bill number 188.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Burkett?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 188, there are 7 ayes.
Bill number 188 is finally passed.
Bill number 192, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move for final passage of bill number 192.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Burkett?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 192, there are 7 ayes.
Bill 192 is finally passed.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 193, introduced by Councilmember
I'd
O'Meara.
like to take it up. I move for final passage to substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 193.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby?
No.
Councilmember Burkett?
I voted no last week on perfection of this bill, and I really do have some major concerns. As I told Councilman O'Meara, I think the ordinance is in the right direction, but there's certain parts of this that really can concern me. One of them being the credit check, the other one being who has access to this information? I believe, am I correct, Pat, that it's supposed to be closed records? Am I correct on that, or?
The bill indicates the council's intent that the records be kept closed.
Okay, and they will be in the hands of
The administrative director.
the administrative director, but if we as council members have access to these, I don't feel very comfortable with that. I really don't. So at this time, again, no reflection. I think the idea you had, Councilman O'Meara, was good, but I just don't think that this is the proper ordinance. I think there needs to be more looked into this, so I vote no.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Yes.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 193, there are 5 ayes and 2 noes.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 193 is finally passed.
Moving on to resolutions, Madam Chair, we have one this evening. Resolution number 1, introduced by Councilmember Burkett.
At this time, I move for the adoption of resolution number 1.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby? Aye. Councilmember Burkett?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on resolution number 1, there are 7 ayes.
Resolution number 1 is adopted.
Moving on to unfinished business, item number 1.
Please hold, and that will be the order. An item number 2, are we? I want to hold on that also. Are we? Okay, that's right. We're having a committee of the whole meeting. Am I correct? All right. Thank you. Let me rephrase that then. Unfinished business, item number 1, hold. Item number 2, 3, and 4, please hold, and that will be the order.
Item number 5, all districts.
Receive, file, and the report of the St. Louis County Council Committee of the Whole meeting of August 27th, 2013 be adopted as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Abstain. Motion carries.
And moving on to new business, Madam Chair, we have 3 prepared orders this evening.
Madam Chair, on that committee of the whole, I'm abstaining because I was not present for that particular meeting. If you could put that down.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you.
So we have 5 ayes and 2 abstentions? Okay.
I move for adoption of orders number 1, 2, and 3.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Orders 1, 2, and 3 are adopted.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.